questions that have been asked so far in this debate illustrate why the American people don't trust the media. And you look at the questions. Donald Trump, are you a comic book villain? Ben Carson, can you do math? John Kasich, will you insult two people over here? Marco Rubio, why don't you resign? Jeb Bush, why have your numbers fallen? How about talking about the substantive issues people care about? The contrast with the Democratic debate, where every fawning question from the media was, which of you is more handsome and wise? That debate reflected a debate between the Bolsheviks and the Mensheviks.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, you remember that moment from the last Republican presidential debate? Well, Ted Cruz is now atop of the latest Monmouth University poll in Iowa. That's right, he's overtaken Donald Trump and Ben Carson. And Marco Rubio leads in total popularity. So what's happening here? Let's go to the Malzberg panel. See Edmund Wright, columnist for Breitbart.com and The American Thinker, and Jane Velez-Mitchell, founder of JaneUnchained.com and author of the New York Times bestseller Addict Nation. All right, see Edmund Wright. To be expected or surprise?
Hey, I've been telling you for a year Ted Cruz is going to get the nomination. You knew I had to mention that again.
Absolutely.
I'm a little surprised. I think it's pretty clear that Cruz is surging. I don't know that I think he's really ahead of Donald Trump in Iowa at this point, but I think he's pretty close at a minimum. And I also think we're seeing, Ben Carson continue to slide, and I don't know what he can do to kind of get out of that now. But again, I think Cruz is going to ultimately appeal to a huge percentage of the Republican electorate. Whether or not he can catch Donald Trump nationally remains to be seen.
What about it, Jane Velez-Mitchell?
Well, I agree that he's getting some of the support that had gone to Ben Carson until Carson got that knockout punch when he was unable to name allies that he would call to mass an international coalition to fight ISIS. I also feel that he may be getting some support that may be slipping away a bit from Donald Trump because Donald Trump's language is getting scarier and scarier. And as I walk about, I hear more and more people talking about, did you hear the latest thing? He wants to kill the terrorist families, and the demagoguery that Trump is engaging in, I think, may be putting off even some hardcore Republicans. And remember, most of the support that Donald Trump has is from people who are sort of independent-minded, who may not show up for caucuses, Republican caucuses. So I think that Ted Cruz also is using some very, I would call it, easy language. Let's carpet bomb them into oblivion. Easier said than done. So
not really. When you go out on sorties and they return with the bombs, because as has been revealed by the former head of the CIA, Obama doesn't want to harm the environment and drop those bombs on oil fields or tanker trucks, see, Edmund, then you got a problem. But talking about the rhetoric from Trump, okay, every national poll shows that since the Paris attacks in San Bernardino and all of his Muslim comments, his polling numbers have gone up. And by contrast, you look at Obama and Hillary's married at the hip to him on the other side, and all the Democrats are. They think 25% think he's doing a good job in the fight against ISIS, and a majority want boots on the ground. And not for 10 years the way Obama presented that false choice yesterday, but to fight and destroy ISIS.
Yeah, well, I think that's what the American people want. They want us to get in, win it, and get out. Let's not worry about nation building. Let's just go in, take care of business. We have the capability to do that technologically and with boots on the ground. And then we get out and let them know, look, we know the return address, in case we have to come back here again. And I think that's kind of what you're seeing playing well with the American people now.
Hey, Jane, I mean, this is
boots on the ground is the problem. This is the ghost of Saddam Hussein in large part coming back to haunt us. I was reading fascinating articles about how the leadership of ISIS is packed with former military brass from Saddam Hussein's army and its intelligence services. So we defeated them, and then they turn back and create ISIS. So what did that accomplish? Actually, nothing.
No, it was because Barack Obama ignored ISIS when he knew about ISIS and called them a JV team and ignored intelligence to paint a rosy picture. But I want you guys to hear this. Listen to Erin Burnett on CNN. You ready for this? Go.
She was definitely trained and prepared for this kind of event. I think they were going out in a hail of bullets either way, and that was their plan.
Jim, I mean, obviously her involvement is a game changer in how law enforcement will look at this, but I just have to ask you, could there be something else, anything else that could have explained her involvement, something like a postpartum psychosis?
Jane, a postpartum psychosis for the radical jihadist Islamist terrorists.
Comment on that comment, but I can say in general that there were many experts who were saying there were mixed motives in this attack. The fact that it was also connected to workplace violence.
No, it wasn't. It was a Christmas party. It was a terrorist attack at a Christmas party.
It was a terrorist attack, but there were also mixed motives. A lot of experts have said that people don't do anything for one specific.
Oh, yes, they do. They do it for Allah, my friend. Allah, Edmund.
No expert that's not, politically motivated is saying that jihad doesn't have room for any other motives. Now, as far as Aaron Burnett and postpartum depression, what a perfect liberal excuse. You can blame the baby, which no doubt should have been aborted in the first place.
Why did he go to the party and then come out? If they wanted to commit the terrorism from the get-go, they just would have gone in and done their act. So there could be mixed motives. It doesn't mean it's not terrorism. He
probably wanted to make sure that the Jew, the Messianic Jew that he hated so much, who he told you'll never see Israel, was going to be there. That's probably, he was scouting it out. That's what he was doing. Hey, guys, got to go. See Edmund Wright, Jane Velez-Mitchell. Thank you. Larry Kudlow is next. The hits just keep on coming.